Hey, youth developer, happy
What up?
Friday. So last week we talked about time blocks and we wanted to do a little game. I don't know what we're going to call it. Jimmy's actually better at the names. Honey, what do you think we're going to call it? All right.
Rock, sand, or water?
We got our rocks, which are our priorities, our values, our guidelines. And then we have our sand, which is our to-do list. And we're not saying that this to-do list is bad, but what we are saying is that the rocks are more important. It's important to put the rocks first and then the sand. So you gotta get to your priorities and your values and your convictions and what's valuable to you. Alright. So now the water fits in this beautiful jar, which is called our day. And just like water, which is a macronutrient, right? Meaning, right, it's an essential nutrient that your body needs. It does a couple of things. It quenches your thirst. That's right. So it's the same thing with our days. We got goals and dreams, we got desires, we got all these things that we want to do. Water is taking that time in your day to take care of it, to enjoy it.
Yeah, just remember your rocks are your unmovable blocks. You know, like, hopefully they align with your principles and values, but sometimes they don't. They're just unavoidable things like doctor's appointments. But hopefully they begin to align more and more with your one thing, your purpose, your spark. And your sand being your to-do list, being things that have to get done, but they don't necessarily have to get done in a certain time and space. Like, for instance, checking emails. You can kind of check them whenever they need to get done, but email is an important part of all of our business. And the water is the things that make you feel great about life. Like, you know.
And they're everywhere, right, honey? The water goes throughout your whole day. It could be at any minute because it could be done in such a short period of time. You know, like I said, a hug takes what, a few seconds, right, honey?
Yeah.
A kissy, it's really quick. You know, music is about 3 minutes. All right, guys. So now we're gonna get into the game. Jimmy, I am gonna give you something, and you're either gonna say whether it's a rock, a sand, or water. Are you ready?
Sure.
Checking a very important email from your boss.
Sand. Meeting with your accountant Tuesday at 3 o'clock from 3 to 3:36.
That will be a rock. It's a hardcore appointment that's in there. Right?
FaceTime with your niece and nephew.
Oh, water!
Scheduling time to do big thinking.
Rock. That's living in our quadrant 2, or Q2, which is reflection and planning. Having a quiet time every day at 6 a.m.
Rock. Sipping tea and staring out the window.
Definitely a water, guys. Stare out the window early in the morning. Listen to the birds sing to you.
Going to see a real estate agent in a city where you're looking to invest.
That's a rock. Do you have a hardcore appointment? Is it a certain time?
So I guess that one is a sand until it's scheduled, and then it becomes a rock.
Very good.
Just like sand, over the eons, piled up on top of each other turns to sandstone, or a rock.
Right, so don't disregard your sand, people. We're not saying that your to-do list is not important. What we're saying is just let's learn how to prioritize and how to distinguish.
Because here's the problem. Doing big thinking, which, you know, for most of us, that's your most important thing. So, for instance, let's say you got hired by a job to do something. You usually got it, or, you know, in your company you get promoted. You usually get promoted because of something that you did that was creative, unique to you, that no one else in that company could do. But then once you get in that position, as you move up the chain, all of a sudden there are these reports and things that are due, paperwork that has nothing to do with that 5% of what you were able to bring to the company that ended up moving you up in the first place. So if you end up spending most of your time on paperwork, administrative work that has nothing to do with your 5%, you're cheating yourself and you're cheating your company. What you need to do is you need to protect that time, so you should be scheduling that. So for instance, say you work in some type of software company and you need time to think about what type of software you're going to write, how you're going to solve a unique problem, that you should be scheduling in. You might also want to schedule in your SAN time, but that's when you handle things like email, paperwork, whatever type of reports your company needs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think it's very important to also schedule your SAN. Like, you could schedule, this is what we call chunking or batching your emails.
Got some chunky, get the chunky.
But it's more about it's for your sanity, and it's for you to be able to work and be focused, because we're constantly checking our phones. We're not truly 110% focused on the tasks in front of us. And like Jimmy said, that's not really, it's a disadvantage. It's a disadvantage to yourself, to your performance, and to the people that you serve. That's what you were saying, right, honey? Technical problems. Oh, God.
That's how I drive people. Don't judge me.
Don't judge them. I like this reflection. Oh, not my real skin. Ah, there you go. I like this much better.
You look like you're glowing.
I am so glowing. Oh my God.